I hate men. I've heard this from women my entire life. It's so common these days to hear women say, all men are blank. Men ain't. And grouping them together and casting a judgment on the entire sex. And I've just never felt that way. In circles of women, they would often say, well, you probably don't feel this way towards men because you haven't experienced blank, insert the plethora of traumatic instances that can happen with men. And when I would share my stories that I often had, they would be like, well, you have all the reason to hate men, why don't you? Women's resentment towards men is not entirely misplaced, obviously. Look around at the world, abroad, and in our own local communities. When I think of the main reasons why women feel such hatred towards men, I just don't see a world where we correct those issues without men. Often the force required to correct the ferocity of evil-filled men is the ferocity of good-filled men. Obviously, women too. Men in their grounded, higher state are a force to be reckoned with. Okay, quick story time. I was a teenager walking into a store with my little brother, and to my right, a car pulls up full of men waving, trying to coerce me to get into the car and kidnap me. I moved my brother to the side, and as I did, this old cowboy was walking out of the store towards us, saw everything that was happening, and he puts his hand on his back pocket to reach for his gun, and the car saw what he was doing and immediately drove off. And I'll never forget this moment because it was this crazy juxtaposing scene of men in their absolute unhinged nature, and then men in their beautiful protector, higher nature for someone he didn't even know. And it really did show how men can be a part of the solution to the problems they also create. I don't know if you know, but men account for 80% of the suicides in the United States. And I encourage you to listen to this incredible podcast. I have it up right here. It's called Young Men Are Quietly Giving Up. And this really alarms me as we're moving into a time where we really, really need strong men. Many women have absolutely no freedoms in different corners of the earth. And I'm just going to speak to the modern Western world for a second. In women's attempts and pursuit for male accountability, I feel like it has hardened so many women's outlook of men altogether. And you got a modern dynamic now where women are walking around incredibly jaded, and they project this energy onto men in their entirety, and then feel a lot of resistance to having accountability themselves. Like a collective grievance that turned into an absolving of looking into the mirror. We can so often become the archetype of the thing we protest. I believe reestablishing a sense of sacredness between the sexes is going to be a big part of the solution here. And both sexes have a lot of work to do here. Objectification is such a big part of this to men, and I hope we can continue to hold men accountable while also as women taking ownership of the parts that we should, like when we electively objectify ourselves and further feed into that energy that in the end doesn't serve us, and be a bit honest with that. I'm curious if you've had a journey with your relationship to men and how you see us all walking forward unified together.
Now, you hear a lot about unrealistic beauty standards, but you don't hear nearly enough about the unrealistic personality standards that women have to live up to.
Bingo.
Every time you turn on the TV, you see women in films reacting stoically, controlling emotions, staying calm in high-pressure situations.
Doing math?
Giving men the false impression that this is somehow what they should be expecting from a woman's personality.
Whether that's Kristen Ritter not wanting to talk about her feelings in Jessica Jones, or Charlize Theron's short, concise, data-driven answers to questions in Mad Max, I don't think these filmmakers realize or care about the harm they are doing by asking women to live up to those unattainable, emotional, and storytelling ideals.
I had a friend come up to me recently complaining that his date took forever to get ready. They missed the previews. Then she started crying as if this is some abnormal event. I had to grab the guy and say, Dave, I don't know what you saw in Girl with a Dragon Tattoo, but this is what a woman looks like without having her personality airbrushed by Hollywood.
That's why I so much appreciate what they are doing on The View.
Yes.
Personality, positivity, showing what a real woman looks like completely unshackled from whether statistics or evidence even remotely lines up with the points they are making.
I want to also applaud the makers of The View for just putting their raw, undesirable personalities out there, flaws and all, so men can see a realistic depiction of what to expect from a woman.
He said he will only marry me if we get a prenup. Then you know what to do, girl. Go visit your doctor. Get you some prescriptions. Get you some mind-altering prescriptions and take them on that day. And have your receipts from the pharmacy. Have your visit to the doctor. And film yourself on Instagram taking your meds. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Make sure the date is seen as well. That is posted. Then the contract will be null and void. There you go.
Oh my God. Just don't get married, yeah? Because this is crazy.
Okay, how can you convince your husband to let you stay home? Quit your job. Sprinkle, sprinkle. That's how. I got fired and I'm getting harassed at work. I ain't going back. I'm staying home. Take care of me. That's it. That's all you gotta say. I'm harassed at work. I ain't going back. You gotta take care of me. I'm going home. I'm traumatized. Can't do it no more.
You better find an next job.
There you go. Just lie.
Just lie.
There is no discussion. If when you decide it for yourself, there is no discussion. You just gonna do it.
Easy peasy, eh? And other people supposed to
You
just
said, ladies, lie about your body count. Don't even answer the question about no body count. That's stupid. If a man is asking you that question, he's broke or stupid or low class. Real men don't ask that question. You know, no one has ever asked me that question in my entire life. No man has ever asked me that question except the Dusties in the comments. Okay. So if you answer that question, you are lowering yourself. Don't even answer the question. Just laugh.
She's talking to a woman who has a body count of 150. Just don't get married, because now they have this trick where you can go take pills and then tell the judge that you were on medication that day. Yo, the that they come up with is ridiculous.
Women are always told to choose better men, like it's their problem, the men are bad.
How about taking that dreaded first step towards some personal accountability and realize that a lot of women, in fact, do need to choose better? Because a lot of times, some women tend to choose the same types of men that have the same bad characteristics over and over again and decide that it's all men that share those characteristics.
The men are never told to be better men.
Has someone not been paying attention? Because there are multitudes of individuals out there telling men every single day that they need to be better. But I guess someone must have missed that.
It's much easier for a man to choose to be better than a woman to choose better, because a lot of these men are wolves in sheep's clothing.
Really? Exactly how difficult is it for some women out there to actually understand the characteristics that make a good man as opposed to just an attractive man? Because a lot of women will simply date on what they find attractive versus what should be considered for a relationship. And that's the main problem there.
I have a TikTok going a little viral right now because it ended up triggering a whole group of women. Essentially what I said is that there are women that will leave their marriage simply because she isn't happy. Yet men will tolerate years of disrespect in order to maintain the commitment that he made to that marriage. For those of you that get it, you either one, have experienced this yourself, or you've witnessed very closely somebody that has gone through it. Two, you understand that this is not always the case across the board, but you understand that it does happen, so it can be validating to those that have experienced it. Number three, somewhere in the last 5 videos that you just swiped up on, you saw a video that a man was being blamed for whatever it was in the relationship, that it was his fault. At least one of them is giving a woman's perspective on relationships or dating. And lastly, 4, how many videos do you see out there where a woman is getting a divorce or she's thinking about getting a divorce simply because she's not happy? It's happening, ladies. It's happening.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, ask me.
Okay. What is a body count that you wouldn't go near? If they have what number?
I think three and above. 21.
3? Oh, off of that.
Yeah, it's just a preference. What the against my preference? You know, I wouldn't judge you based on your preference. So like, you want to.
You're 21.
Yeah, I'm 21.
You've been in a relationship.
Yeah, I'm in a relationship currently. Yeah.
How long have you been in a relationship?
Like a year or some shit. Yeah.
Right, okay.
Actually, yeah.
I think if you're in relationships, 3, like, of course that's normal, but like if you're not in relationships,
I'm 21. Wait, like, what do you think is like the average body count of 21?
I have no idea.
In England, let's say.
More than 3, I'm gonna be honest. It's definitely more than. It's probably like 21. You're. How long have you been in a relationship? I'd say the.
Year, yeah.
Would you say like 10? 10?
10. Like the average body count in England. In like 21.
Do whatever you want to do. As long as you're not cheating on anyone, I don't care. So yeah, who cares? That's
Cool.
fine.
All right, cool.
Why do women have to prove their value, but men just have to show up?
I think it's the opposite. I think men have to prove their value and a woman just has to show up.
It depends on who you asking.
No, I think if you're pretty, you could get access to the parties, to the invite only, to the private yachts, to the billionaires club, just because they want to have you in the room. Now, we know what they want you in the room for, but if you're smart, you don't go for it. You work the room so that they invite you directly after. Whereas men got to earn the money, have the job, get the accolades, do the achievement in order to even almost have access to some of the things that she gets. So I actually feel like beautiful women get much more opportunities than men do. What y'all think?
It just depends on who you're asking.
Personally, I don't know the answer. I just feel like for me personally, I think that as a woman, I get more opportunities than a man because I think that men want me to be in the space, but they don't expect me to come with the character or the work ethic that I come with. And that's what keeps me in the room. What I look like might get me to the room, maybe if I know somebody, but what I'm built by or built of is what keeps me in the room.
And listening to Sarah, she's got it. That's what a lot of modern women need to understand. Yeah, you're going to be pretty. Men are going to look at you. Men are going to like the way they're people in general. They're attracted to beauty. They're attracted to something that looks good, right? They like that. That's what people like. And so if you get invited to do something, then you take advantage of that and say, okay, I am smart. I am capable. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to light it up. I'm going to get it done. And you go in there and you prove, hey, I'm not just a pretty face. Hey, my body is tea, but so is my mind. I can do it, man. I'm not dumb. I'm not an airhead. But a lot of these modern women, they're so lazy nowadays that they'll go in there and that's exactly the way they act. Even if they have a degree, that's exactly the way they act. Oh, I got a degree, but I want him to take care of me. I want him to do it. I don't feel like working anymore. And then when you get put in a box because that's the way you've been acting and you never jumped out of that box and say, hey, I'm more than just a pretty face. Hey, you need me to organize that for you? Oh, yeah, we used to do it all the time. That's where I started. I used to work at a restaurant and I started as a server. But eventually, they saw that I was really good at what I did and they moved me to lead and then they moved me to manager and store manager. And, that was about 5 years and I went on and did something else. But yeah, I can lead it for you. I can run the project. I can do that for you. You want me to do that? Instead of showing your value in other places and expanding your influence, you sit there like an airhead. And then that's where you get put.
Top 5 reasons men aren't approaching women. Y'all not gonna believe what number 1 is, but y'all gonna have to stick around to see what it is. Number 5, too many mixed signals. They don't know if she interested or annoyed. Y'all know how y'all be having that rest and be face? I'm guilty of it too. Number 4, fear of rejection. Most men, they hate public embarrassment. And some of y'all women, baby, y'all could be some mean ones. Number 3, social media has changed dating. DMs feel much safer than walking up. It's okay to be rejected there. Nobody ain't gonna know. Number 2, they think she's taken. If she look good, somebody probably already claimed her. But they don't know her phone is dried in the desert. And number 1, the risk doesn't feel worth it. One bad rejection can make a man stop approaching altogether. That's exactly why you men need to go and take my red flag audit test so y'all can see all these red flags and y'all won't have the fear of approaching a real woman.
A lot of us were raised by women who hate men. Women who had so much unresolved pain, bitterness, and trauma that they passed that hatred down. Nobody want to talk about it because it disrupts the narrative that women can do no wrong. But be honest, how many of y'all grew up hearing, don't depend on no man, all men are dogs, don't let no man play with you, men only want one thing, but not once did they tell you how to choose a good man. Not once did they tell you how to communicate with a man. Not once did they tell you that not all men are your enemy. The wild part about it is most of those women wasn't healing. They was projecting. They was recruiting you into their war against men that they started, that they lost, and that they never recovered from. Now whole generations of women is out here fighting battles that they never experienced. Blaming men they never even met. Getting into relationships already angry at somebody who isn't even in the room.
Women did not want women's liberation.
What?
Yes, everybody assumes and believes that women kind of looked around in the 19th century and they went, we're oppressed. We don't have any rights. I wish I could work. I wish I could get away from my husband who drinks and beats me. And they marched and they picketed until they had voting rights and equality in the workplace. That's the story everyone's heard, and it's not correct at all. In fact, it's the opposite. So we had this big fight in the late 1800s between pro-suffrage groups and anti-suffrage groups. Most women in the United States and England, they far outnumbered by joining the anti-suffrage groups. They were very much against it. And these groups would debate, and women didn't want it. They thought they had a lot of great things going on already that were going to get ruined by suffrage. Only men could be held responsible for debt. There was something called breadwinner laws that said, look, women have to raise kids and be pregnant and have babies. So we have to hold men responsible for financially taking care of women and children. So women couldn't be thrown into a debtor's prison. They couldn't be held legally liable for repaying a loan or anything like that. The anti-suffragists said, you're going to see a lot of divorce. You're going to see broken up families because it's going to pit husband and wife against each other. Political interests will be used to drive a wedge between men and women and break up families. And then we're all going to be a bunch of single moms. We're all going to have to work. Like they literally predicted that.
Women are not going to be receptive to this. Their whole identity has been built from this feminine monster dog, and it's all like lie.
You know what? I'm starting to understand one of the reasons why men do not like expressing their emotions to women. And I'm going to tell you one of the reasons why. Because in society, what women likes to do is they like to call men sassy. They call men sassy about every last thing. He's sassy for that. He's sassy for doing that. Like, I can understand now. Like, I was talking to some guys in my chat yesterday on live, and they was basically like, yeah, that's one of the reasons why. And I'm like, man, it makes perfect sense. Like, as women, we got to take some accountability. I'm not saying all women do this, but I have witnessed plenty of women who do this. They will call a man sassy for expressing how he feel. That would make me as a man not want to express how I feel at all, because like, you're not finna play in my face trying to, you know, take down my dominance. Like, no, I'm not going for that. Personally, as a man, I wouldn't. As a society, we have to do a better job of what we deem as sassy, because everything is not sassy. Y'all say the littlest things are sassy. Like, yeah, there are things that are sassy. Don't get me wrong. But a lot of stuff y'all be saying that is sassy, don't be sassy.
I say I'm a feminist. To me, it's just, I feel like women should have the choice to do what they want. The same as men. Like, men can choose whatever they wanted.
If we want to talk about choice, women didn't have to work. Men never had that choice throughout history. And I'd argue men, even in 2026, men can't realistically go out there in the dating market and be like, I want to be a stay-at-home husband. That will not fly with even liberal women. Liberal women who might have good career ambitions, their standard, even though they are feminists and believe in 50-50 equality, blah, blah, blah. Most women, even liberal progressive women, their standard's going to be, I want a guy who makes as much money as me or more. So there is never really a choice for men to want to actually step back and be more taking care of the household. That's a choice women have. Now, in terms of careers, you have to have a really strong understanding of what the world looked like 100, 200, 300 years ago. You have to remember 300 years ago, there wasn't air conditioning. There wasn't like lunch breaks and HR, and there wasn't
pregnancy leave.
No, that did not exist. 100 years ago, as a man, you go into the coal mines. This idea of like lacking of access to the workplace was physical. It was labor.
Let's talk about how men have adapted to the changes that have come in the dating landscape with women. So in the last 60 or 70 years, since we've had feminism come onto the scene and we've had this revolution, one of the things that women often say is how evolved they have become and how free they are and empowered they are and all of the things that they can do and own and be and have. But what's happened with men? A lot of women criticize the fact that men are not welcoming to all of this evolution. But in fact, they have adapted and women don't like it. It's interesting that women want to evolve into these totally new creatures, but they want to see men stay the same. They want to keep men in the protector and provider box. But women get to be in all of the boxes. So ladies, here is a harsh reality. Men are adapting to the changes that they see in modern day women. And a lot of them are just opting out. A lot of them are making the decision that, you know, they don't want to show up as a traditional man to a new age modern woman because that just doesn't benefit them the same. It doesn't hit the same. So you need to understand that men are going to evolve too. They are going to become less masculine. They're going to become more egalitarian. And a lot of you and your true nature is not going to like it.
We are now living in a world where women are objectifying men, which is crazy because women have been complaining for years about men objectifying them. And it's like your solution is to do the same thing back? What is that teaching them? I just saw a TikTok a couple days ago of this poor man who wore sweatpants to an airport, like you do, and there was a woman filming him. In what world is that okay? And the comment section was filled with women being like, let's see the gray sweats, let's see it, let's see what's there. What are you doing? What are you doing? Where's the line of mutual respect? How can you ask for respect from them if you're not willing to do the same? How does that make sense to you? It just makes me feel so ashamed that there are women out there that have so little respect for men, because then it makes the rest of us look bad. If I ever in my life make a man feel uncomfortable, that says everything about me and my character, and I would never, ever stand for that. You can't make this up, dude.
I think it's a really raw deal for men that we are going to hold men to this masculine standard while we hold women to absolutely no standard whatsoever. It's 100% okay for even feminist or 50-50 equality women to say men should. But it's clearly, whoa, the moment you say women should, now we're getting into sexism. Now we're getting into misogyny. But women, even equality feminist women, men should pay for dates. Men should be chivalrous. Men should protect me. Men's roles are static. Men have to up front be trad. But women get to reserve that until marriage. And even then, a lot of these married chicks, the married liberal chicks, they ain't doing that. I don't think it's going to go over very well, especially with more traditional leaning women, if men started to say, I'm not going to protect you, I'm not going to provide, I'm not going to pay for dates, I'm not going to even be masculine until we're married. That's not going to fly with women. But women can say, I'm not going to be submissive, we're going to be 50-50, I'm not going to cook, I'm not going to clean, you just want a mom. Maybe in marriage you'll get that, and it's still negotiable.
And I really appreciate, and I like the point that Brian is making. Modern women, they get to flip back and forth. They get to, oh, I don't really feel like doing this today. It's like, you know, when kids want to, they really don't want to go to school. I'm sick. I can't go. I can stay in this bed. Can you get me some soup? Actually, I don't want soup. Soup's not gonna make me better. Soup's not gonna make me. Can you give me a Big Mac? Can you give me a chicken sandwich from Chick-fil-A with a large fry, extra Chick-fil-A sauce, and a large Dr. Pepper? Oh, and can you put on my favorite show? Oh, I thought you were sick. You couldn't go to school. You couldn't learn. Oh yeah, you know I really can't. That's what modern women are like. That's exactly what they're like. Oh, I can't. I want to be, but I can't be feminine. I can't. Oof. You know, I can't cook and clean like you asked me to. But I can be feminine, and I can be soft when I want you to give me money and take care of me and be the protector and the provider, and provide like I want you to provide for me. Do what I ask you to do. See, I can be sick. However, I want to be sick. I can be feminine. However, I want to be feminine. Okay.
Not surprised to have what? Been single for a very long time? Why does that come as a surprise? I find it very ironic that a lot of women talk about how they love being single, and many women find it to be empowering, except, of course, oftentimes when another woman, so it seems, tries to insult another one by insinuating that there's something wrong with being single. Were you aware that there are thousands, if not millions, of people who are very happily choosing to remain single? Also, most importantly, being in a relationship doesn't make any person any more valid or better than anyone else, and nor does being single make someone any less valid or worse than anyone else. It is really time for some individuals to give up this sort of antiquated thinking that a person is only a complete person if they're in a relationship. If that's how you feel about yourself, well, then I highly suggest that someone takes a hard look inside and determine why exactly someone would want to think that.
I hate when men ask, oh, so what's the relationship between you and your baby daddy?
I'm not sure how much more this can actually take. Few discretion is advised.
There's not one, but he will crash out if he finds out about you. He don't want to see me with nobody else, and he don't want to marry me. So, therefore, are we going to pursue this or not? I can't help what I got. I did it. It's done. What are we going to do?
I did it. It's done. What are we going to do? Who is we? And what do you mean are we going to pursue this? Pursue what? A walking boxing match? A walking possible shootout? What is there to pursue here? If I wanted to get into random shootouts with people I hardly knew, I would join the military. Why would any man ever sign up to go back and forth with your baby daddy? And not only does he have to go back and forth with your baby daddy, he got to deal with you and he got to deal with your child. Jesus Christ. Who's doing the math? Didn't you just say there was no relationship between the two of y'all? Clearly there is. It's toxic as at that. Sweetheart, I'm going to hold your hand when I say this. And I mean this in the most loving way. But you're a victim. You don't even have control of your own life. Not only that, you're a victim probably to a bum ass nigga. How do y'all allow this type of stuff to happen in y'all life? You are held captive in your romantic life by a man that doesn't want to marry you, that doesn't want to commit to you, that's honestly just your baby daddy, literally just that. You could literally meet the man of your dreams tomorrow and you could not even have him because that man said no. And if you went against his word, he would crash the out. That's who you procreated with? This is not making any more sense, bro. I really don't get it. It's one thing that you procreated with an ain't shit nigga. That's one part of it. But to have him control your romantic life is something completely different. And then to start the conversation, you just flat out lied to us talking about, oh, there is no relationship between us. Clearly there is. So much so that he's willing to crash the out. You probably still, man, that's probably what's going on. And I could be wrong, but something tells me that y'all still got something going on. You ain't got no business trying to date nobody. Leave everybody alone. Figure out whatever it is you need to do with your baby daddy. Leave every single man alone. And for the men out there that might even consider talking to this woman, you bet not dare. You bet not. Unless you're willing to crash out over some cat that's not yours. And if you are willing to do that, you know what, go ahead and do it because we don't need like y'all around anyway. But I know some of you just not going to listen to nothing I just said because I'm just a normal guy. Yeah, keep it change.
There's one thing that drains a man faster than anything else in a relationship, and most women do it every single day without realizing. It's not about what you're saying, it's how you're saying it, the tone of voice. A lot of women don't realize they've stopped using that soft, warm voice with their man. Everything comes out sharp. Yeah. Complaining about this, nagging about that, bringing up what he didn't do. And when was the last time you said something genuinely positive? Not sarcastic, not backhanded, just appreciative. Most of the time, it's 90% critical and maybe 10% positive. If that. And then we wonder why he seems distant or checked out. That constant negativity, it's draining. Your man craves your softness. Yeah. Your warmth. He needs to feel like you actually like him.
Oh yes, a little known secret about women and their exit strategy. And this is, I'm laughing, but it's not a good thing. Women who want to leave a relationship. And by the way, it's women who file for the divorce way more often than the men do. Just FYI. In fact, with college-educated women, I believe the statistic is about 93% of the time they file for divorce rather than their husbands. So the structure in a girl's brain when she goes into an exit strategy is that she will be long down that road before the guy has any idea, typically. And that's why it's hardly ever women that come home to a house that's been emptied out and a note on the counter that says, I'm leaving you. That's something men go through.
Average women don't want average guys because they think that they're not average. They think that they're above average. How's that going to translate in the dating marketplace? You have average women that are going to be chasing after either exceptional or above average men. They're going to curve men who are average, who are actually on their level. That's why you get caught up with boys and in situationships and a guy never committing to you or a guy who's cheating on you because you're shooting out of your league. So if you think you're a 10, surely you must deserve a 10. You're going to chase after Chad. You're going to spend your 20s a bunch of dudes. You're never going to like actually get into a proper monogamous relationship. You'd rather have the divided attention of a hyper attractive guy than actually have commitment from like an average dude because you think you're above average. That's the problem in the dating marketplace. And that's why this is a humble check.
Sassy male apocalypse is really funny until we need to find husbands. Only 1 in 3 men under the age of 30 are in a relationship, whereas 2 in 3 women are in a relationship. How is this possible? Women are dating older. If you have 50 men on Tinder and 50 women on Tinder, 46 of the women will give all of their attention to 4 men. On Tinder, a man of average attractiveness has to swipe 200 times to get 1 swipe back for coffee. And if the coffee date happens, 4 out of 5 of those said coffees will ghost him. The men who are rejected at that rate indulge in more misogynistic content online and pornography. I begin to think about my brothers or my future sons. And the reality, the current situation is men are not doing well. And who wants economically and emotionally viable men the most? Women.
What's crazy to me is that this difference between what young women experience and what young men experience in dating and in relationships today is that it's just skimmed over. It's like, oh, we both have it really bad. And yeah, men have it worse, a little worse. But guys, let's be real. Just based on these statistics alone, men have it way worse than women when it comes to dating. In general, I don't think that people, especially young women, do a good job at putting themselves in young men's shoes. Because what I've seen is that there is a total lack of empathy when it comes to this issue. For example, when the loneliness epidemic was first being talked about in young men, women bashed men. They blamed men for the issue. And then women wonder why they can't find a good husband. Well, it's because when they were younger, in their 20s, and they were going through this, they just decided to stay single and build their empire.
Just imagine being in a household and the person that's in elementary school is the one with the most sense. Few discretions advised.
Grandma don't got grandpa anymore, and you don't got my dad anymore, and then she has kids, and then you have a kid. You have a lot in common.
Ma'am, if you don't mind, could you point me in the direction of the humor? Because little man just dropped a gem that you didn't even know you needed. And instead of taking that seriously, you find humor in it. At his young age, he's noticing how up his family is. And instead of doing something about it, you laugh. This is why your family tree has those quote-unquote generational curses. Matter of fact, it is not a curse. These are active decisions that you and your elders decided to make. And you laughing at the unfortunate circumstances that the young boy just told you about lets me know you don't take it serious, and that's exactly why you are in the position that you're in. Y'all prioritize everything except putting those kids in the best position possible to further their development. And that young man at his little age is looking around and noticing a pattern and saying, wait a minute, something ain't adding up here. There should be no reason why y'all are practically in the same exact position. But instead of allowing that to be a wake-up call, you find it humorous. Some of y'all do not deserve to be parents because y'all do not prioritize your kids' development the right way. And you don't think a kid at that age with that line of thinking is a problem because that's what you came from. You actively can look around in your family tree and see that you guys are not progressing properly. And instead of doing something, at least trying to do something, you laugh at the situation that is clearly holding y'all back. And the only mother that notices it's a problem is a young in the room. You can't make this. Wow. Your elders did you a disservice and stunted your growth, so in turn you think it's only right that you stunt his. The abuse becomes the abuser, and I don't think he's going to stand for that. I hope that young man grows up and does wonderful things with his life and breaks free from the generational curses that the people before him put in place. Because there should be no reason why at his young age this is where his mind is. He should be worried about all kind of other. But you know what? I know you ain't gonna listen to what I'm saying because I'm just a normal guy. Y'all keep the change.
And Emily was saying she doesn't think that women, especially young women, do a good job of putting themselves in the shoes of young men. Well, why would they do that? To do that, that would equal pain. That would equal inconvenience. So why would I be doing that? If the world is going to be handed to me on a silver platter, why in the world would I sit up here and I don't want to people in general don't really want to sacrifice. If we can make it acceptable for one gender, only one gender, to have to suffer, society says, no, you leave them alone, they can't suffer. But this gender over here can. And the gender happens to be a man, then who am I to get in the way of that and say, let's take some of the burden off of them and let's put it on our shoulders. Let's take some of the easy work, right? And then when it gets a little bit harder, let's take more of the hard work. You see, what a lot of modern women like to say is men used to go to war. I remember, at least in one of those wars, when men were at war, the women got up and they started doing the jobs that men were doing, working in factories and some of the more dangerous or some of the more traditionally male roles. Essentially, they were doing that. But y'all just want to do the cute stuff. Y'all just want to do the stuff that's easy, it's not hard, and I can make a little money doing it. I can go get my coffee every single morning. But then I'm going to turn around and tell a man how he's not masculine. And I'm not willing to help either.
What is the problem with black men? We talking about black community. What is y'all problems with single moms? Because y'all hate us.
It's not the fact that men hate single mothers. It's the fact that single mothers come with more. There's more things that a man has to take care of when dealing with a single mother. She's coming with some extra. And some men, whether they want to or not, can make the choice whether they want to deal with it or not. You dig what I'm saying? That's their responsibility. I'm a big, Biz a little, I got more weight than him. I come with more weight. You can choose whether you want to be or skinny. So you got kids. She don't. I choose. I want to got no kids. That is my choice. That is my preference. Now you are not shamed for your preference in men, but a lot of times men are shamed for our preference. We hate you. Y'all hate us. No, that's our preference. Because if a got no kids, he ain't wrong for not wanting a woman that ain't got no kids. That's his preference. So just because you don't fit his preference don't mean that he hates you. Just because you don't like big don't mean you hate me. Somebody like this. Somebody like me.
That was a good answer.
Thank you, man.
Every day some new beefing with my right now, but life still lit. Riding down the strip, $500,000 whip. 5 M's for the kid for ice like this.
Who is most domestically towards women?
Surprisingly, it's actually women.
It's not.
Yeah, no, actually, no. So check this out. The highest actually occurs a lot of the times between same individuals who are women. And then the other thing also that's interesting is, because they did a whole meta-analysis on this. What they found was when there's only going one way, where one partner is beating on the other, is typically women to men. They're beating on the man. But the majority, obviously, are of like, they beat on each other. So it's two-way. But when it's only one party attacking another, it's the woman to the man most of the time. So, I think that's a misconception that a lot of people have where, people think that, oh, men are just beating up on women or whatever. It happens, but I don't think it's as prevalent as people try to say. And, this is like feminist propaganda to push certain things out and get certain legislation going or whatever. But the reality is that it's really the women that tend to be more with that stuff because women don't have a proper concept of, I'll explain this, right? So the thing with men, right, is when men deal with each other, there's already inherent respect to a degree because we understand that we're capable of each other, right? Because we have the physicality to do so. Women don't understand this that much, right? This is why, like earlier, I'll give you an example. When I was out doing the thing, the people that were heckling me the most were women, right? And the reason why they did that is because women don't understand the concept of and consequences, repercussions for talking, because women don't get punched in the face by men, luckily, right? But men do. So if you say the wrong thing to a guy, you know that there might be a physical confrontation that can end your life. Women don't understand this concept for a multitude of different reasons because, obviously we live in a civilized world. Men don't really attack women like that, which is good. Women, when they do fight with each other, they're weak, so who cares? So in general, women don't have a proper concept. So this is why they tend to be more, because they don't understand the consequences and ramifications of it.
So you kind of proved my point. I just feel like
we give so much flack to single moms, but not to the men who made them single moms. Like, I feel like the energy, if you're going to give the energy to women who have children and they're raising them by themselves and now they want to date, you have to give the energy to the man that put them in that position. Like, that's the part that I don't like that's not balanced. Like, if anything, the father who decided to not raise his child should get all this negative attention, not the mother who's making it happen by whatever she's giving. And that's where I just think that that's unfair. Like, y'all should be men, because a lot of men scold the single moms. You should be scolding your gender, the men who do not take care of their responsibility and raise their children. And that would seem to me fair. Because if a woman's a single mom, it's because the guy's not there.
Exactly. We didn't choose this life. It chose us. Like, I didn't wake up one day and be like, oh, I don't want to be with the kids, the father of my kids anymore. That wasn't a choice. It just happened that way. And again, we're doing everything. I bust my ass to take care of my kids. Like, I grind. And so it just was very hurtful to see all of those comments about single mothers. And yes, like, why not give it to the men?
A few moments later.
It goes back to what you said. They're going to say, these men will date you, but are they going to marry you? That's what they're going to say.
Oh, well, a man ain't never left me. I left them. My fiance that I was engaged to, I broke that off. We bought a house together and everything, and I still cut it loose. Okay, because I'm the type of woman, I have money. I got my own money. I get my own bag. I don't got to deal with nobody's shit. So if you're treating me how I don't want to be treated, if you ain't got no business doing in a relationship, we're done. And I don't got to stick around. A lot of women settle. I don't. I know my worth, and a lot of people don't like that. They don't want you to know your worth and what you deserve. I do. So a man ain't never left me.
And on periods. And on periods.
What is the problem with black men? We talking about black community. What is y'all problems with single moms? Because y'all hate us.
It's not the fact that men hate single mothers. It's the fact that single mothers come with more. There's more things that a man has to take care of when dealing with a single mother. She's coming with some extra. And some men, whether they want to or not, can make the choice whether they want to deal with it or not. You dig what I'm saying? That's their responsibility. I'm a big, Ben's a little, I got more weight than him. I come with more weight. You can choose whether you want to be I'm skinny. So you got kids. She don't. I choose. I want to got no kids. That is my choice. That is my preference. Now you are not shamed for your preference in men, but a lot of times men are shamed for our preference. We hate you. Y'all hate us. No, that's our preference. Because if a got no kids, he ain't wrong for not wanting a woman that ain't got no kids. That's his preference. So just because you don't fit his preference don't mean that he hates you. Just because you don't like big don't mean you hate me. Somebody like this. Somebody like me.
That was a good answer.
Thank you, man.
Every day some new beefing with my right now, but life still lit. Riding down the strip, $500,000 whip. 5 M's for the kid for ice like this.
Men commit differently than women. Men pick up the whole package. So they start by they're looking for a woman with complementary strength. They are looking for strength, and they see a woman that's really, really, really strong, but they don't need to be duplicated. And they don't want to be duplicated. They want to be admired for the ways that they're strong that you aren't. And the only reason they want to be admired by you is because they admire you. It's not because they think so little. We want to be admired by the people we admire. So men scan for complementary strength. It's in their nature. They do it all the time. We do it too for a different reason, but they do it. It's like they're always filling a team or looking for a partnership.
Here's some crazy research for you. So a third of men, 33%, a little over a third of men between the ages of 18 and 29 are not only single, but they're not actively looking for a partner. The same study said that by the year 2030, that 45% of women between the ages of 20 and 45 will be single. So I've got a question for the men, because I see it all the time in my comments. Most of my comments are filled with guys saying we're done. We're not looking. We like our peace. I need some more talk from you guys. Tell me why you're done. Tell me why you don't want to have a partner in life. Tell me why it's more worth it to be single than to have a partner. Even if you weren't to remarry, just to have a partner. I mean, I've talked to a lot of men. I've got my answers, but I want to hear it in the comments. So please drop it in the comments.
It's funny how black women will sit and listen to other miserable black women
when it comes to black men. Like, make it make sense. A woman who can't keep or obtain a real man, you know what I'm saying, or a top tier, high value man, whatever the y'all want to call it. A woman who can't even obtain that you're willing to take advice from, if she keeps getting left, clearly she's the problem. Every man does not act the same, but what I have realized is all you women act the same because y'all feel like y'all have nothing to change. And the fact that you don't believe in evolution of self, these men should with you. Black women are doing themselves a disservice within our own community. If you don't advocate for respect of black women and black men, then shut the up. However, we're not going to skip over the fact that black women are the most disrespectful of the blacks. And the reason that is because it's always been a part of the white man's plan. They want the black woman to think every man is DL or closeted or not a real man because of whatever the they believe in society or whatever they've been told within their misandry. And all this is showing me is that black women refuse to take their power back from the white man. You know what I'm saying? And then start to listen to our black men so we can understand. Stop listening with your feelings involved. Take your feelings out of and I guarantee you, you will hear the message. Stop deflecting and projecting and accept and understand. Oh, and don't forget to comprehend because y'all lack that. Learn how to use your critical thinking skills. If you have none, learn how to get some. Every skill that is a skill or a trait or characteristic is something that can be learned. Sometimes it's just not in you. But if you don't have the willpower to learn, and we have free will, you know what I'm saying? That's on you. Y'all be doing us a disservice by picking up y'all phone and literally projecting. That's all y'all do. Y'all come on here and project. Y'all don't come on here with no facts. Y'all come on here with feelings and don't nobody give a
That's what I just finished saying. These modern women don't think that they have to change. They don't think that there's anything that they need to change. Anything that you want to change about yourself? Nope. Nope, not at all. I can't think of anything. So, but I don't think we need to change anything. I don't think we need to change anything. So you don't think that, do you have any self-awareness? Yeah, I'm aware that I don't need to change. You know, therapists told me that I was perfect. Therapists told me that I was a good person. Therapists told me that even when I do bad things, I'm still a good person. Well, I mean, yeah, you're still a good person, but maybe you should apologize, you know? And if it's like something that's really crossed the line for the man, I don't know, maybe do something for him. Maybe do something to make it up to him. Why not that? How come you just, oh, well, I didn't mean to. And then you just keep on going. You can't just keep on walking without an apology. You can't just say, oh, well, you know, that wasn't my intent. Just keep on freaking walking. You gotta, the same way that you want a man to make stuff up to you, you gotta start doing that for a man. Oh, who gonna be the boys? I am. I'm a boy. I'm a man. Now get you. I think you should apologize.